Hello and welcome to the Decibel Boost podcast, the official music podcast of the website Surreal Resolution. I'm your host Robert, and the thumbnail for this episode cost me approximately $85,000. And with me I have...
Fuck Real Madrid. FC Barcelona all the way.
And...
Now I know what Bob Bass was saying during that episode.
He was ordering 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda. Finally makes sense after all these years. I have no idea how anybody is supposed to get that to a structurally sound position.
Like, you gotta, I don't know, like, lean that shit, I don't know, like, all the way, at least tilted in a way that you gotta make sure it don't fall down.
But, like, it looked like, because, like, I Googled pictures of, like, you know, people trying to build that shit. It's, like, they seem to get it, like, almost perfect. And, like, even when, like, Babish was trying to stack that shit up, like, even, it looked like he kind of laid down at a angle. Like, what, do you have to lie it horizontally and then stack all the shit on? And then just kind of, like, you know, press it together into some kind of, like, colossus of, like, meat and toast?
Meat and toast and those delicious caramel onions. Also,
the onions mixtures.
Yeah. Also to know that people put. Also, apparently, there's jamming in the order he got. I mean, I know
that's true.
I know there's a sponsor episode where you put jam on this Krabby Patty, but
with the shimmy.
Yeah, with the shimmy.
You know. And then freaking John, you know, in our Discord, has to show me a link to someone making, like, fucking caramelized onions for burgers with fucking Welch's grape jelly. I'm like, man, Welch's, y'all are into some nasty shit.
Okay, I'm like, okay.
That is like some white people on tasty videos on Instagram shit, man.
Oh, damn, that's right.
Ugh, Why? Why do people do these things? But whatever. Okay, so episode 83. How's everything going with everyone?
So far so good. Even though it's been raining here for like the last week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. I don't like the rain. Nor do I like the humidity that comes with the rain. Especially when you have to work out in it all flipping day long in a hotel that's actually hotter than it is outside, but whatever. I've been inside, enjoying some days off, cooling down, thankfully, and let's see what else is going on. Oh, yeah, Game 7, Rockets Warriors. I'm going to have several panic attacks tonight. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I heard there was... here's the thing. There's about 4 or 5 different sports things going on this weekend, and I don't know which one I'm supposed to care about.
Realistically, none of them.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Although, at the very least, I'm actually looking forward to those tweets because it's drowning out this week's discourse about Star Wars.
Oh yeah. I'm going to go see that tomorrow. I am keeping my expectations mostly grounded.
Just why discourse on everything? We just got done with the other discourse. Now we're in some new discourse.
Because people have to feel associated with the things they like. That's their identity nowadays, and that's pretty sad, really.
It's like Oprah saying, "You get discourse, you get discourse, you get discourse. Everybody gets discourse."
Oh! Just wait until that happens, because I have some things to contribute to the Oprah discourse. But that's neither here nor there. So, Mark, what about you?
Yeah, same as here. It's been raining like a bitch most of this week, especially today. And I'm gonna warn you right now, for any viewers, if you hear any loud noises in the background, my niece and nephews are staying here for a while, and I'm hoping they don't come in the room interrupting me, which I hope they don't have. But I'm just saying that I'm just apologizing in advance in case that shit happens.
Uncle Mac, why are you screaming about a race remord? Who are you talking to?
Oh boy.
Relax. There's no race remord talk this week, thankfully.
Good.
Yes, thankfully. We still have another week or so.
Oh yeah. I gotta finish that.
Oh, that's right.
I gotta finish that album. I gotta finish that album.
That's right. Damn. Anyway, over here, of course, there's also been rain. And speaking of rain, guess who has 2 thumbs and owes $180 to the county because my brakes fucked up at a really inopportune moment? That's right. This fucking guy.
Oh, that sounds
Damn.
all kinds of horrible.
Relax. No one got hurt, and the worst amount of damage that was incurred was, like, a long scratch line on, like, the bumper of another car. But, like, I slammed the brakes. I saw the other person, like, slowing down really, because it looked like they were rubbernecking, because I saw, like, another wrecked car off on the side of the road, one that looked completely totaled, and I, like, slammed the brake as hard as I could, but it, like, I don't know if it was the anti-lock brake, like, you know, because of the rain and everything, but it just, like, seized up and would not cooperate. It's like, what do you want from me? Ugh. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, hopefully, I have a month, and I get paid in 2 weeks from now. I would have paid it off now, but I actually put in $250 for the Cowboy Bebop anniversary set thing, which actually looks like it might be happening. As I last checked, it's like at about $950 at least.
Oh, it's so close.
Let's get in there.
As of the time we're recording this, it's dawn of the first day. There were 72 hours, and by the time you're hearing this, it's probably dawn of the final day, 24 hours. And of course, I'm looking forward to Thursday because Adult Swim on the green, yeah! You know, that's probably going to be fun.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'll take my mind off, you know, my bitterness and rage towards freaking, you know, automobile construction. But that's neither here nor there. So that basically is... Oh, I forgot to mention, I finally beat Final Fantasy VII after like 3 or 4 attempts across 7 years, which now brings my personal total of Final Fantasy games completed to, well, 2. This and 15, which, wow, that's really sad. Because I've played or owned at least half of those. And I saw Deadpool 2. I liked the first one better, but this was still pretty damn funny, all things considered. Especially Domino. We need to get her own movie.
Yes.
Or, you know, just go forward with the X-Force movie like you've been saying you're going to do for the last 2 years. Come on, people.
I mean, they kind of can't. I mean, did you see what happened to them in that movie? Especially, oh, Peter.
Yep.
Oh, Peter. Man, my heart hurts for him.
Yeah, and I gotta say they got trolls for Terry Crews because I think it's gonna be he might kick some ass in the special promos where it's like nah he gets hit by a bus. although compared to the others how they got off, he got off. It wasn't worse than especially the alien guy and the Vanisher.
What a beautiful bait and switch that was.
That's probably a metaphor for something. You could probably, like, caption it. But, yeah, I had a fun time. And who knows when I'll get to the movies next time. We shall see. But for now, let's move on from all that and, of course, get into the meat of this episode. Of course, starting with the new song discussion for this past week of miscellaneous new releases. As always, there's a link down in the description so you can follow along with us if you're curious about any of these songs yourself. And, of course, to start off, we've got 2 one-off tracks from 2 rappers that show up a lot on this thing. Tyler, the Creator, and IDK. Let's start off with Tyler first.
Yep. He got another joint on us. Only this time it's a minute and a half. I like it's more freestyle. The joint's called
435.
435. Yeah, that. And the thing about it is like he gets this little freestyle he did with this beat sample from I'm guessing from called Saint Etienne 4:35 in the morning, which, okay. I won't say Todd to sound fucking good on this shit. Basically, this first verse gonna I put the feline in my hair, look like a cheetah pet. You know they getting green if the file on their neck. With the file on their neck, hit Clancy on the text. I ain't gotta check a bag. Can you get another jet? Like, alright, this already like this like I think there's like some some good shit on here, like especially with on the other lyric that I like is get to the paper, better re up on the chalkboard because the student turned to the teacher. The chalkboard class in session 1-5, I'm a 7. I'm a gun nigga, ask your reverend, and that crib is barely in heaven.
Dope.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically all I have to add to that. It's a dope little freestyle, man.
Yep. Oh yeah. One look that I like is skin nigga also pop up women they adore me. If you see me out in public, no pictures they record me. I don't fuck with y'all niggas selfish at the orgy.
Oh. Yeah, all good stuff from Mr. Tyler. I look forward to seeing you next week when you eventually pull something else out of your pocket.
Pretty much, it's like it's gonna be some other thing you can release, like it might be, I don't know, like an instrumental. It could be anything.
Possibly. But now, let's move on to IDK, who not only celebrated his birthday this past week, but apparently also was involved in some automobile shenanigans. Same pal. Same.
Yeah. Oh yeah, damn. He's 26. He's a year younger than me.
Damn.
But I could get another one-off track called Star. And, I mean, there's not much to say here except IDK deliver what he does best. He brings some dope lines, especially some dope lines and some killer beats. Especially with this, started with Big Dope. You sell smoke, white goat, she got white nose. Ain't no killer, ain't no hitter, ain't no hoe. I'm a sinner, I'm a winner, I'm a motherfucking star. I think something that he's on a brink to becoming big, because I mean sooner or later he might. I'm thinking if a certain magazine, picked him to be on this, I don't know, this list of up and coming rappers that might be on the come up. You get what I'm saying?
Yep, we get it. It's IDK, and again, we have a slot reserved for you next week, Monday at approximately 7:30, 7:45. Table for two. But now let's move on from the one-off rap stuff to the realm of metal. Yes, in a couple weeks we have the newest album from Mr. Zeal and Ardor, Stranger Fruit, June 8th, and we have the third single from the album, or rather second one we're talking about here, Built on Ashes. And this one, the last one we heard was very much, straight up black metal, and there's some touches of that here. Right from the get-go, you get that faded sort of shimmering wall of like reverb heavy guitar chords with eking out that kind of traditional sort of black metal chord progression. I guess whatever sort of scale you would call that. I'm trying to remember the name from that one Stevie T video, but I'm drawing a blank. But the majority of the vocals, like when they do kick in, are performed in more of a clean, straightforward, almost kind of ballady fashion. Like especially when you're listening to sort of like the piano thrown in the mix, those low mixed guitar tremolos, and that actual drum progression. I don't know how to describe it other than it sounds like someone doing a black metal cover of Adele. Like that's pretty much how it registers in my mind to a T. It sounds cool, and if you're looking for like somewhere between super intense but also kind of pleasing to the ears, this is definitely a good track for it.
Yeah, this is pretty melodic stuff here. It was more melodic than I was expecting, so yeah, I can dig it.
Sounds all well and good. But now let's move on to July release, the latest one from... And you know what? Before I get into this proper, I actually have a little bit of a tangent here. Okay, so I used to frequent this metal news review website called The New Review. And, it shut down like back 6 years ago, like 2012, 2013, I think. But a lot of the staff and the fans like actually kept in touch. But I bring this up because one of the co-founders of the site, she's not a particularly big fan of this artist, and when she actually reviewed an album of hers that came out, like, recently, the artist in question got really, like, uppity and tried to be all calling out of her on it, And basically, that's the only reason why the name Otep Shamaya is taking up space in my brain. So, of course, Otep, her and her band, is dropping a new album on July 27th called Cult 45, which is a double pun. See, it's like the gun, but also like the cult that surrounds the, whatever you want to call it, that's sitting in the Oval Office right now.
It's malt liquor.
Yeah, and malt liquor.
That too. That too. And so
it's a triple pun.
Triple entendres, not bad. And so we have the leadoff single from the album, To the Gallows, which I assume does not feature a whole lot of condemning, like a certain other band, but that's neither here nor there. And look, I gave a pass to like that Stray from the Path album from last year, even though I know a lot of people, even Stray from the Path stans, thought that it was kind of cringy in some respects, and I want to give points here for effort, but it's just new. It's just really like cringy sounding new metal, even with the thick, saturated production on the instrumentation. And, Otep just kind of sounds like one of those really try too hard hashtag feminists, who's trying really hard to convince you that, no, I'm like hardcore commie or whatever. And it's just, I don't know, man. This just doesn't work for me at all.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know you were going to have that much to talk about. I wrote like 2 paragraphs worth of notes here, but
well, I mean, go ahead. Maybe you'll give me something else to bounce off of. That's
okay. Well, going through the I guess you'd say the press release that was up on Blabbermouth, it feels like this might be kind of a throwaway single, like a quick tease for what would come later in the album, which is set to tackle subjects such as rape culture, Brock Turner, school shootings, evangelical hypocrisy, all that kind of stuff. I've always found Otep to be an all-right band, not someone I've followed religiously, just sort of on and off every so often, like when I had Sirius XM years ago.
Good for you.
And this was like a decade ago, don't worry. But I can't help but fear that some people are going to respond to this along the lines of, "Hey, dude, figured what, you stupid dyke," to Otep Shamaya, but, like the comments on Blabbermouth are leaning.
Wow, what a surprise.
Don't worry, Blabbermouth, I'll come back to you during the roundup next week.
Oh.
Yes, I'm going to talk about a certain album from a certain band that should have stayed dead. But we'll get to that when we get to that. As for this, it's alright. Again, it feels more like a throwaway single than anything else, as in not indicative of what the rest of the album might sound like. But with that said, this does kind of feel very similar to some of the, how do you put it? I guess I'd say the trademark touchstones of this band. Very blend of Rage Against the Machine and Hailstorm with a sprinkling of early Machine Head in there as well. It's a band I can say, yeah, they're okay, but I wouldn't go out of my way to memorize all their songs.
See, and maybe that's the problem, because you rattled off one band that I like and 2 other bands that I just do not give a shit about. Obviously, the one that I do care about is Rage. And, look, it's just, you know what it is? Like, for some reason, Otep, she sounds like, she's like the musical equivalent of Frances McDormand's character in 3 Billboards. And you've probably seen me say my piece on that elsewhere.
Yes. With all that said, the bar was set really low for Ministry, so there's nowhere to go but up from here.
Fair point. Otep, I will give you that much. At least this actually has a pulse compared to freaking Al.
Whatever the hell that thing from Ministry was, as we call it.
You disappoint me, Al. But anyway, let's move on from that to some instrumental, very proggy noodliness here, courtesy of the fine lads in Polyphia, or Polyphia, or Polybius, however you pronounce this. I'm pretty sure I've got that both wrong. But yeah, they decided to drop a one-off track with the very not proggy title of G.O.A.T. In that acronym fashion, like Kendrick Lamar is the GOAT. But, and, there's kind of a reason for that, at least according to the press release. They say it's going into uncharted, exciting new territory for the usual, press hype speak. And, it's worth noting that there are two producers on this track, one of them being Judge, who's worked with guys like Migos and Young Thug.
So, wait, what?
So just kind of try connecting the dots in your head for a minute. It's called G.O.A.T, which is like rap slang. One of the producers has worked with, trap artists. And, okay, the noodling on the guitars and the bass, all of that with all those harmonics, those clean rapid chord progressions and just like taps and everything, it all sounds like standard Polyphia. But when you're listening to how it's produced, and especially in the drum beat, it does sound like a sort of noodly prog rock take on trap music. Especially with the drum patterns pretty much sounding like they're trying to directly ape your typical trap beat, just translated to an actual kit.
Yeah, this was certainly something different. Hip-hop production implemented in instrumental progressive rock guitar work. I'm inclined to check out more. It certainly left an impact on me. It's a pretty interesting melding of styles and production techniques.
Yes, it is. But, moving on from that to something that actually comes attached to an album, the fine lads in Savannah, Georgia's Black Tusk, their newest album, TCBT, which I probably should have marked down what that actually stands for. I didn't, mark that in my notes here. But yeah, TCBT, coming out August 17th, their first 4 seasons of Mist, which certainly explains the sound of the lead-off single here, Agali. Now, of course, as I said, from Savannah, so naturally, if you've never heard Black Tusk before, usually they carry that very kind of, southern fried sort of groovy sludge in the vein of like, a Baroness or Kailiza or something like that. But this one, there's less of that groove, there's less of that like wild party boy southern metal aesthetic here. This one is kind of more of just like a straight, fast driving headbanger with that constant barrage of like the distorted guitars playing, the chord structure that kind of has like a bit of like a black metal sort of chromaticness to it, but not severely so. And, it's a banger, I'll give it that much. It bangs every bit as hard as every other song they've ever released in their lives. So this could be another pretty entertaining listen from what I can gather. I'm curious as to what the label change means for the album as a whole.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty solid hardcore stuff here with lots of pretty cool genre blending all over. Some metal stuff, some gothic stuff, some punk stuff. Pretty good stuff.
Yes, it is. And, as a quick side note, remember that time Black Tusk did a song for an Adult Swim compilation? Yep, that's right, Metal Swim, all the way back in 2010. And that is our segue into the next song from the Adult Swim Singles Program 2017 through 18, courtesy of, who else? The fine lads in Sleep. And, of course, this is another super long one. This one is like freaking 15, 16 minutes. Because they can't make it short on you, can they? It's longer than the longest track off the Sciences. It's called Leagues Beneath. And, of course, this one, starts off as a bit of a slow, mid-tempo burner with a lot of sparseness between, like, those huge bursts of those, like, fuzzy, overblown guitars. The drums kind of, carrying that huge mammoth grooves with these occasional bit of breaks at, like, these random spots in the mix. And, it takes about, like, 6 minutes almost before the vocals actually kick in, and they have more of, like, a full-bodied sound. Al Cisneros sounds more like something he would be singing on, like, an older Sleep record, rather than the more sort of ethereal, meditative, sort of style in, like, the Sciences. And, once it gets up almost halfway through, that's where we start getting a mild bit of tempo changes, up to, like, 6/8 time. The guitars actually start, like, improvising these, like, shreddy solos, super trill heavy hammer-ons and pull-offs that get, even more jammy as shit, and extended solos, just kind of, like, around, like, when there's, like, 5 minutes left to go on the track. It's, you gotta rip those fat bong hits and just let the song carry you to wherever it is you go when you're, like, blazed.
Yeah. This track is such a sludgy, slow jam that it poisoned my whole Pokemon team. And
Ooh.
got them high as well.
Yeah, that's, man, the new Pokemon games sound fantastic.
Yeah, good stuff from Sleep as per usual. Nice and sludgy, nice and slow, nice and... I'm trying to think of a word to say to explain getting high, but I'll just say it's nice music to get high to.
Dink. It's dink
Yes,
music.
There it is, yes.
That word actually used to mean something. But now, let's move on from that to the actual realm of hip-hop tracks. This one featuring 4 figures, the main one being YG, which, as I keep being reminded, is apparently not actually an acronym for G.O.A.T.
Yeah, it stands for Young Gangsta, as I've been looking up.
So then why doesn't he just call himself Young Gangsta?
I don't know. But yeah, anyway, he does an album coming out this year. I don't know when, but it's called Stay Dangerous. And of course he got this a new track called Big Bank, which also features the likes of 2 Chainz, Big Sean, and Nicki Minaj.
And before either of you jump down my throat, yes, I'm aware I spelled it wrong in this sheet here. Look, I just went through it pretty fast, okay? Can you blame me for making a spelling mistake? You know,
I noticed I didn't say anything. I
was preempting you because I knew you would, like last time. I have the receipts.
Okay, anyway, this song is basically, your typical song about, they're bragging about their wealthy lifestyle and their luxurious shit, because rapping can live large, and while YG is okay, everything to me, I still like his last album he did, Still Brazy, which of course got the single FTT, which is basically our anthem right now. Well, at least for the state. It's more of a it's an okay verse from YG. It's an okay verse from YG. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of bad features from him lately, especially from the Cardi B album, and I don't know what that. I don't know. I listened to that post album, but yeah. Anyway, then you got some verse from 2 Chainz, blah verse from Big Sean, because Big Sean's just, I don't know, he's just there, and of course you got Nicki Minaj doing her motherfucking thing, and I mean, oh yeah, in the song, oh yeah, the beat also got this very twinkly xylophone bass beat, was produced by YG's boy. Yes, that's his boy, Mustard.
Not DJ Mustard, just plain Mustard. Remember that. Don't
just
get it
Mustard.
twisted.
And this is a beat that I think Mustard would do. It's only a typical mimical sound beat, only with a different twist. It's basically a sound like from, someone going like some shit like that. But yeah, this really just an average ass track that I listen if I, it's usual shit I get from there, but I wouldn't go back that much for it, but whatever.
Yeah, I hear relatively good things generally about YG, including from people like The Melon, but I don't know about this one. Like, it says a lot when the most memorable things about your song are Mustard. Gotta get used to that. Mustard and Big Sean. Like, seriously, the only lines I remember are from the Big Sean verse. Perhaps most stand out, I'm as rare as affordable healthcare. Which is very true, and that stings. Like,
yeah,
he's got a point.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, apparently, this is that song where like Nicki Minaj talks about banging Eminem or something.
Yeah, that's right. I remember about that.
Yeah, that was the thing.
And
anyway,
hearing this, not thinking why people, not know why I think I like Still Brazy, because Mustard wasn't involved in it, but involved in that shit at all.
Yeah,
it looks like he'll be in his next album, but yeah, I mean that's his boy. I guess.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see when the actual album comes out, whenever or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But now, let's move on. Alex opened up with the subject of sports, back during the formalities. So now let's actually veer back into the topic of sports, because coming up pretty soon, I think next month, I'm not entirely sure, is of course the 2018 FIFA World Cup taking place in Russia, the most corrupt sports organization in the world, hosting an event in one of the most corrupt political countries in the world. Match made in heaven.
Damn.
Hopefully no one has to drink Bud Light Lime over this. Isn't that right, John Oliver? But, of course, it's typical for, big sports things like this to have special theme songs, performed for them and recorded specifically for the event, because, the advertisers need something to jam into every freaking promo spot possible!
Yep.
And, this year, for an event that's taking place in Russia, what better way to celebrate than a combination of a Puerto Rican reggaeton singer, an American pop rap artist, an Albanian singer, and whatever country Diplo's from. Yep, that's right. We said Diplo. He's the producer on the FIFA 2018 World Cup track "Live It Up," and the aforementioned singers Nicky Jam, Era Istrefi, and Mr. Idiot himself, Will Smith. Isn't that just a combination of things? This just sounds like me going to the pantry and just throwing shit together because I'm starving at midnight. And, it tries, obviously there's a lot of horns in here because that's what gives you the triumphant sports appeal, so I guess it sounds mildly sporty, but then what the hell is up with, it sounds mainly like, reggaeton, basically, except with, a quick smearing of Will Smith and, some dancier, whatever it is Diplo does. I assume it's produced things, but and then there's Era Istrefi in there who sings okay. I don't know. I don't get this, man. I really don't get the intersection of music and sports.
It's something that dates back a long, long, long time. Say, remember when Ricky Martin had a song that was the theme for the 1998 World Cup?
And where did that take place?
France, I think.
Yeah, it still makes more sense than this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically Bruce is now an EDM guy now, huh? He's if people never if people stop being notable, or he's basically Pitbull now. No, older.
Yeah.
Only older. So
pretty much.
So basically, your son does rapping, your wife does her own thing with rock, and I think your daughter still sings or does some shit. I don't know. Y'all do a lot of shit. Yeah, but this is definitely that song that always plays. Then sports promos, the thing that you will hear a lot until you're like, I'm getting very sick and tired of hearing this shit.
Yeah.
Please stop playing. He's like, is it right the middle?
And you're probably going to hear it in conjunction with the Coca-Cola promotional anthem of the World Cup, because they're a sponsor. None other than Colors by Jason Derulo.
He's still around?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
I thought we finally collectively agreed to stop giving him work after You Know What to Do with That Big Fat Butt.
Apparently not everybody got the memo, let alone the Coca-Cola company.
Yeah.
I hate this species.
Because apparently let us follow a lot that shit.
Yeah. But now, let's move on from that to about the second or third week in a row, if my memory serves correct, of a new track from the experimental hip-hop group Death Grips. Yes, these guys are still not giving us release dates or any purchase information on their upcoming album Year of the Snitch, but we have the third release single from the album, track number 2, Flies. And, this one, I think the bigger picture of the record is starting to get into focus, although let me start off by saying I wouldn't be surprised if they're just releasing this thing track by track until the full thing is posted online. That sounds like the most Death Grips thing possible, pretty much. And, listening to this beat, it's a very, again, another very synthetic, the melody is kind of very, like, bouncy and energetic, but, like, it hovers sort of, like, above everything else, and there's kind of this, like, there's these sort of dips in, like, how it's actually produced. There's occasionally lulls that kind of sounds like the beat's trying to go to sleep, which I guess is appropriate because one of the pieces I read for, one of the articles I read leading to the song described the video itself as kind of like one of those ASMR things people are always talking about on YouTube. It just kind of has weird sort of lulling dreamlike quality. What the fuck is ASMR anyway?
I think it's where you make
it's when you hear you hear people talking very quiet up close to the microphone like this for that aesthetic, Oh,
so NPR basically.
That shit, yeah, that shit.
Yeah.
That's one of my better singers. But yeah, there's, that's basically the chorus, and sure, there's a little bit more energy in, like, the verses where there's, like, those hard-hitting electronic drums, those DJ scratches, and, Ride's delivery sort of skating back and forth between, like, the reverb-heavy, like, delivery and the more aggressive shouts, but you basically just kind of feel like you're in sort of this, hypnagogic state, especially when you're listening to him deliver the chorus, like, should the opportunity arise, vomit me, flies vomit me, together's unwise, sever all ties, stuff like that. This kind of feels like it's going to be sort of a dreamy release as far as the Death Grips catalog, if we could sort of take, like, the previous two songs into a bigger context, I suppose. I'm interested.
Yeah, like, hearing this track, like, I don't know, like, the past, the past tracks released in Death Grips, like, first one, I thought, it's okay. Second one, yeah, that got better. Third one, oh yeah, I'm loving this one. I really fuck with this one. I really love, like, all the shit you mentioned in there, that really got me into this song, especially with MC's delivery on there. This is some dope shit.
But now let's move on from that, from a song that makes you feel like you're in a dream, to a song that just kind of makes you want to pass out in bed.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we are talking about Mr. Drake here. Drake, or, D-Rake, let's call him. I just made that up like 5 seconds ago.
Maybe we can call him Pusha D.
We're not talking about that feud here. We can save that for another time. I didn't actually listen to Dubby Freestyle, and that's not the one we're talking about here.
Yeah.
By the way, that Pusha T album's pretty good.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And so he's apparently got a project coming out sometime next month called Scorpion, if that is the title. We're not really sure on a specific date yet. And he's released a new song that may be on the album called I'm Upset. Welcome to my world, pal. Which, it's kind of funny, because that sounds like it's basically the entire MO of his whole discography. It's like that line in God's Plan. I feel good, sometimes I don't. And, it pretty much says everything you need to know, that the most memorable thing about this song is when he references the whole thing about Beyonce putting all everything you own in a box to the left. That's basically all I remember. I mean, it just sounds like the usual sort of beat we get out of Drake, his usual delivery, and, it's still just there, even with sort of the amusing nature of the title, just him saying, I'm upset, and, everything else he says in there.
So, yeah, I'm just gonna be out with it. This shit sucks. Like, like, this usual bitch made shit that Drake usually does. I mean, he's I'm upset. It is more relationship shit, which with him going on about some bullshit, which make him he seem like he's the victim, but really he's really not. He just sounds like he's a typical fuckboy shit that I hear from him all the time. And after people talk about, oh, Drake on Pusha T on that W freestyle, and I'm thinking, no, Drake is still not that guy, ever.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But at least we talked about it, so now we can get in those page views. I'm desperate for attention on here.
And also, Also, bought me Drake's stance. He ain't shit.
But yeah, that's basically about it for the song discussion. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we got some news topics to discuss, of course. So stay tuned for that, kids.
Yeah!
And we're back. Now, for our first news topic, we're picking up on something we talked about a couple weeks ago, and that is Spotify's attempt at instituting its new hateful conduct policy, which means that it would remove promotion, any sort of algorithmic promotion for artists that, were believed to promote hateful content. Obviously, the first victims of this were R. Kelly and XXXTentacion. Now, unfortunately, it seems like Spotify has backed off on this, at least in the case of XXX tomato sauce. Yes, they're adding this, pine tree hair, friggin' edgelord hot topic motherfuckers music back to all of the company's important playlists, including its, famous Rap Caviar playlist. Now, there was, of course, backlash originally, but apparently the big thing that, got them, at least according to the Bloomberg report on this, was that representatives for Kendrick Lamar, of all people, got in contact with Spotify CEO Daniel Ek and basically threatened to pull Kendrick's music from Spotify if this policy was, continuously enforced any further. Now, keep in mind, the first thing to keep in mind here is that these are representatives of Kendrick. And yes, it is worth noting that for some reason, Kung Fu Kenny is considered a fan of XXX here. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know why either.
It's almost as bad as when Donald Glover said Bad and Bougie was the best song ever. But, whatever. It is what it is.
Sometimes your favorites your faithful love things that aren't your favorites.
They will always disappoint you in some way. Now, I believe and I don't think it's listed here, but I was reading another piece. I believe the argument made by the executive was that, or at least from Kendrick himself, I'm not sure which, was that supposedly this kind of policy would disproportionately affect, black artists and rappers and all that. But here's the thing, I'm pretty sure guys can rap about this kind of thing without actually having done the thing, which probably at least plays a big part in the matter. I mean, Killer Mike once rapped about giving cocaine to a pregnant woman, and I'm pretty sure he never actually did that. At least I'm 80% sure.
Yeah, as far as we know, he hasn't.
Yeah, he could come across as kind of cocky, but it doesn't seem like that much of an unrepentant asshole. Come on. You have all the allegations, going against guys like XXX and R. Kelly, which, by the way, it's worth noting, XXX's streaming numbers dropped while R. Kelly's rose for some reason.
Yeah, okay.
But it's like, what's even the point of this policy if you're not even going to commit to it?
Yeah, I guess because people just went to the search engine, just says fuck it, I'll search him.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they're removing him from algorithmic promotion, but you can type in his name and it's still there. You could type in I don't even speak Spanish, lol, and that song will pop up, and I'm still mad about that. Fucking Christ. Whatever, I don't have anything else to say on this. Like, I'm just scratching my head at this whole thing, at pretty much everyone involved.
Yeah, can you get some good shit happening?
Yeah, let's move on to some good news, everyone. That was a terrible Farnsworth impression. But to be fair, Alex did a terrible Zoidberg impression earlier, so it kind of balances out. The lesson here is neither of us are Billy West. So, okay, so last year we got the big, comeback after 7 years of absence from Gorillaz with their album Humans, an album that seemed to go sort of hit and miss for a lot of people. I enjoyed it. I think the rest of us did too, to some extent.
Yeah, we definitely enjoyed it. It's on my list.
That's right, it was. But In the meantime, as part of sort of the ensuing press, in the months afterward, Gorillaz were acknowledging the possibility of releasing yet another new album, sometime the year later. But now we have information thanks to a newly launched website that's giving out some cryptic visual teasing information. Supposedly, they have something planned for June 29th that has the tentative title of The Now Now.
Nah. The now
Yes.
now.
Whatever that actually translates to, I'm not sure.
Clearly, that means everything that you're seeing now is happening now. What happened then? We passed it. When? Now. When will then be now? Soon.
Is that some Abbott and Costello shit?
Spaceballs, the greatest movie ever made.
How the fuck am I supposed to know? I never watched Spaceballs. Okay, he obviously seems very upset about that for some reason.
Hey, what?
But
I blanked out.
I saw a bit of the teaser, basically in the intervening break for this, and it sounds okay. Sounds, like it would be a natural extension of whatever it is they were doing with humans, but maybe with a bit more actual proper instrumentation, like guitars and stuff. I mean, heck, the actual teaser shows a silhouette of 2D sitting in, with a guitar and shit, so who knows? Maybe this could be sort of a step to something more guitar-driven, possibly, but who knows? We'll just have to wait and see whatever this is.
Yeah, and I'm guessing with this, I think this might be, I don't know, maybe not as heavy on the features as Humans was, which I guess, as I know, that was sort of the philosophy people said was like it was very feature heavy.
Basically, it's J. Cole's Nightmare. We got jokes.
There's features. I got a feature. Oh my.
But yeah, so, we'll just have to see whatever that ends up panning out to about a month from now. But now let's move on from that, and unfortunately we have to wade back into the ever-hellish nightmare of the take-pocalypse. Takes. They're hot, and they're everywhere. It couldn't just stop with the Thundercat stuff. It couldn't just stop with, Solo with Star Wars story. But apparently now we are having jazz people deliver hot takes about modern-day music. Yes, the person in the hot seat this time around is award-winning jazz trumpeter Wynton Marsalis, a name I, of course, remember quite a bit from my high school jazz days. So recently he did an interview with the Post podcast, which, no, it's not a Post Malone fan podcast, but rather a music podcast hosted by the Washington Post. He was asked, about, the current state of racial relations in America and racial unrest in the world. And he decided that he was going to pull the Geraldo Rivera thing and decide that the problem here was rap music. In particular, he said how rap is indicative of, quote, how we've lost our grip on our morality in the black community, using pornography and profanity and addressing ourselves in the lowest, most disrespectful form.
Okay.
Yep. One of these guys.
Okay.
And I just want to point out here, he's a Pulitzer Prize winner. You remember who else won a Pulitzer Prize recently? Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, other choice quotes here. You can't have a pipeline of filth be your default position and it's free. Now the nation is entertained by that. It's not free. Just like the toll the minstrel show took on black folks and on white folks, now all this nigga this, bitch that, hoe that, it's just a fact at this point. Oh, wow, he really brought minstrel shows into this. You figure he's about, 5 minutes away from going on a diatribe about Spike Lee.
Yeah, and wow, you really sound like insert old man or that does not know shit about hip hop today, because you're basically saying, oh, okay, look, yes, there's some of that, but guess what? That's supposed to be mainstream shit. People tend to find more shit meaning on the internet. Ever heard of it? Ever heard of search and find? Search to find shit you like, instead of being a lazy motherfucker and complaining about the shit all the fucking time. That makes you sound like a little bitch, in my opinion.
Now, okay, to be fair, he issued a clarification, basically that trying to cover my own ass, saying that, I know that, I didn't mean all rap music, but, that kind of doesn't make up for other opinions, like, To me, that's more damaging than a statue of Robert E. Lee. There's more niggas in that than there is in Robert E. Lee's statue. And, okay, I think the big thing that's kind of getting to me here is that we're talking about a jazz cat talking smack on hip-hop, which is weird because last I checked, I'm fairly certain that both genres were birthed from the experiences of disenfranchised, poor, and working-class black people.
Pretty much, yes.
Everybody knows this. Even if you don't know much about jazz firsthand, you at least understand the cultural roots from where it was birthed. And, you say pipeline of filth as a default position. It's not like they have a choice. Remember, we live in a system of capitalism that pretty much always disproportionately targets people of color. That's how this shit works.
And you forget sometimes people rap what they know. Sometimes what they know, they see what's in the streets, what they see, the bullshit they see in the streets. That's what they rap. That's what they rap. That's what they see. That's what they rap about. That's what they know. That's what they talk about.
Mr. Marsalis here is making my head hurt.
Yeah. I'm just okay, and I'm just gonna add this. You can kiss my shiny metal ass, bitch.
Bring it full circle. But, yeah, thankfully that's our one dip into the take storm for now. But, let's, close out here with, some news that may be good, bad, or meh, depending on your point of view. After an initial leak of, a bit of information here and there, we now finally have the confirmed, touring route and the lineup for the 2018 edition of the Summer Slaughter Tour. And according to literally every metalhead on the internet, this is the worst tour edition of it ever. It's so bad, and it makes me angry. Like that year they had Dillinger Escape Plan and Norma Jean, and I said that was the worst. Until they finally did a year where they had like Morbid Angel and shit on there, and then I was like, this is the best. And they did 2 years of this scene bullcrap, and then next year it's probably going to be more traditional death metal, and then I'll say it's the best. It's back to being good. Rinse, repeat, cash the check. But yes, the touring route, it starts July 13th in Raleigh, North Carolina, and ends August 19th in Austin, Texas. Hitting up a whole bunch of places like, LA, Berkeley, Sacramento, Denver, Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York, and sure, Atlanta, but obviously not hitting Florida. Which, kind of makes sense, because some of these bands did hit here recently. Case in point, the top-billed headliner is Between the Buried and Me, which is, of course, interesting, since I believe, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm trying to remember. I'm fairly certain they announced July 13th, the starting date of the tour, as the release date for Automata Part 2.
Yes, they did.
So, nice coincidence there. I'm pretty sure North Carolina is going to get a banger of a show. And as for the rest of the build acts, we got Born of Osiris, who are still a thing apparently, Veil of Maya, Era, or I'm sorry, I have to pronounce it the correct Hispanic way, Era, the Agony Scene, Allegion, not to be confused with Aegeon, Terror Universal, Surreption, and Entheos. I know some of these bands, sort of.
Looks like a pretty good lineup to my ears and eyes. I don't know what everybody's bitching about.
I'm trying to calculate it out in sort of my head here, because, Between the Buried and Me is good. I saw Born of Osiris once. This was like at, Vans Warped Tour back when they only had like 2 albums. And they were pretty good there. Veil of Maya, I saw them Summer Slaughter 2012. I'm not big into them, but they could put on an okay show. Era's sort of, okay. Don't know shit about the Agony Scene. Only know Allegion by name. Don't know shit about Terror Universal. Surreption's cool. Don't know shit about Entheos. So, it's kind of a crapshoot here. But, obviously for, like, the sort of sceeny-weeny, dorky prog tech death nerds that are into this stuff and are like, ew, what's a Morbid Angel? I'm sure you'll find your fill. And then watch until they announce a classic brutal lineup next year, and then those scene kids are like, ew, what's this old man shit? And then, all the old metalheads suddenly turn into Woody Harrelson in Zombieland, and they're like, I've never hit a kid before. But it is what it is. You're never going to please everyone with this shit, so.
Pretty much, that's the way of life.
Yep, never going to please everybody. Now I'm looking back, the 2012 tour was pretty good. You had a little bit of both with, you had Let's see. You had Goat Horror, Job for a Cowboy, and Cannibal Corpse. And you had Periphery in between the Buried and Me. And I'm still pissed I missed out on that show.
Oh, dude, that was such a good show. I still think that's the only Summer Slaughter I've ever actually been to.
Yeah.
Excelente. But, yeah, that's about it for that, and that's about it for all the news topics. And now one last piece of business to take care of. That's the new album releases for June 1st, 2018. Starting at the top, of course, there's the much-anticipated new album from Ghost with Prequelle. Apparently there's a new album from that guy that sang about fireflies or something. Yes, Owl City with a new album, Cinematic.
He's still around?
I guess.
Wait, ain't it the band that one song with your...
That's like 2011 or something.
Wait, ain't it that band that
Dude,
that one song...
before that was like 2009.
Ugh.
Sorry, Mark.
Owls. They did that one song with that one singer you like, Rob?
I'm trying to remember.
You know the one you stand.
Good Time.
Yeah, that.
Good Time with
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Well, how am I supposed to know? I don't pay attention to what Owl City does. I'm only interested in my girl Carly Rae. Y'all are sleeping on her, by the way. Of course, we have the newest, following up on 2017's Pure Comedy, we have the newest album from singer-songwriter Father John Misty, God's Favorite Customer. Of course, let's not forget about the newest release from electronic aesthetic pioneer One Oh Tricks Point Never with Age of. And while this title is pending, we got the Pusha T thing last week, which apparently was actually called Daytona. So with a grain of salt, we're getting a new Kanye West record this week, supposedly titled Love Yourself. He's probably going to name it, like, I don't know, Oklahoma City.
And I'm guessing it'll be
seven. You can name it.
And I'm guessing it'll be 7 tracks because they've been doing that shit recently. Because Pusha T got 7 tracks. Yeah. Hell, even that Designer album, yes, he made one earlier this year or this month. Has only 7 tracks. I think.
Go ahead.
I think the musicians is gonna say that we gotta keep our shit at least under half an hour, or at least the length of an episode of insert anime here.
Yeah, but if I were Kanye, I'd just call it up front. Strong 5 to a light 6.
Melon jokes.
I'm telling you, that's what it's gonna be. I just know it.
Oh.
Until you make a redux of it.
Of course. But that's about it for that. So now let's clean house and get the hell out of here. So Alex, where can they find you on the internet?
As always, I can be found on the internet at Aura of Azure, where I won't be talking about terrible pro wrestling themed rap songs, or the one done by Jake Paul as well.
Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah, that was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Mark, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at McTavish where, I don't know, shit happens. And, of course, on my site, About the Hybrid One, at hybrid1.wordpress.com, we simply have covered, well, the original Fully Cooley and preparations for, the upcoming season coming this Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Finally here. As for me, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Curious Cat, what have you, at Rob Barracuda. Email me, robert@surrealresolution.com for questions, comments, concerns, and inquiries. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Google Play and iTunes. Audio-only episodes go up every Wednesday. Video usually goes up by the weekend on the YouTube channel of Surreal Resolution. Just subscribe and hit the bell tab so you're always notified whenever new episodes go up there. Follow us on Twitter at SurrealRezo. Like us on Facebook. Visit us at surrealresolution.com and find the podcast at decibelboost.surrealresolution.com. Be sure to listen to Podcast O&A as well, which finally has a new episode. Hooray!
Mm-hmm.
Of course, be sure to keep up with our written content. We started a new thing we're doing throughout the summer and up to September where we're grading various Toonami shows.
Yes, we're doing that because some of us have been slacking on the job.
Yes, that is true. And, of course, we also had a new album review recently. Mr. Mark over here talked about the latest from Kyle.
Yeah, Ladder By, which is fairly decent, to be honest.
And apparently it's actually the same Kyle as Super Duper Kyle.
That is still funny.
Yes, it is. Be sure to jump into our Discord if you ever want to show us the weird shit that people do with jelly. You know, keep it PG, people. And, of course, shout out to producer Mr. E for graciously letting me use his music for this podcast. Links to his shit down in the description. That, of course, does it for this week. See you next week, as usual. And until next time, I don't actually have a segue for this, so we should probably just stop recording or something.
Okay.
Get about game, I'ma spit the truth. I won't stop till I get them in their birthday suits. So give me the rhythm and it'll be off with their clothes. Then head over to the front and touch your toes. I left the jag and I took